Alright, this is 028 notes on histograms and dot graphs. Your objectives, you'll be able to read a histogram, and your objective also will be to read a dot graph. Alright, histograms. These are the graphs that have bars with them. You've seen this probably before in middle school. Let's just go over it again just in detail so it's fresh in our minds. So you've definitely seen them probably before. So it's these bar graphs. Now what these bar graphs represent, they represent data. The whole reason why we use graphs and tables is just for us to see data a little bit more clearly and help us make predictions as mathematicians of what might be happening in the past, present, and future. So it's just an easier way for us to look at data. Some people might find the numbers, just look at the numbers up here in the table, would be easier. And some of us might find the graphs to be easier. As a mathematician, we want to always present things in multiple ways so everybody could understand math. So with these bar graphs, the bar from all the numbers between 1 and 2, like 1.1 and 1.9, those two numbers, they're going to count towards this bar. All the numbers between 2 and 3 in these charts are going to count towards this bar. Numbers between 3 and 4 is this little gap here. And numbers between 4 and 5 are this. Now the height of the bar is the amount of those numbers that occur in our table. So looking at A, this bar goes all the way up to number 7. So that means there's 7 numbers between 1 and 1.9999. As you can see, the North Korea is 1.98, Barbados is 1.68, Moldova is 1.56. Those 3 numbers are accounted for in this first bar. United Kingdom is 1.9, so that's 4. The U is 1.8, so that's 5. Maldives is 1.76, so that's 6. A total of 6 between 1 and 1.9. San Marino is 1.49, and that's 7. So there's 7 numbers. So that looks good. But number C says there's 6, but we just counted that there's 7. B says there's 5. And D says that there's 6. So it turns out our answer is A. And we could check the data for each one of the bars, make sure it matches up perfectly. Or if you get lucky on the first bar, you can determine what is the right answer right away. Number 2, this is just another table in the set of graphs, campers at national parks. If you look at these tables, these bar graphs that is, make it a little bit bigger. We're looking at B. This bar graph, from 0 to 20,000, all the numbers between 0 and 20,000 get accounted for in this bar, in the bar graph. All the numbers between 20,001 and 40,000 get accounted in this little bar. Turns out there's only one of them in this set of tables up top. So that's the bar graphs. So the amount of them between that range is how high the bar graphic goes. And you could always adjust your bar graphs depending on the numbers that you're working with. So your X values could always change. That's why not all bar graphs are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one. Another one. Now we're going to practice reading a dot graph. This is just another way that you can represent data. So instead of having a bar, we just have dots. And then there's a number line. Instead of the X and Y axis, you just have the X axis. So of this data table, we have 2 numbers that are 42. So that's why I put 2 dots. And there's 2 42s. Well, actually, there's only one here in our data set. So we know A is wrong. We should only have 1 42, which B, C, and D does. Well, D has 2 45s. Can we find 2 45s in our data? No, we cannot. There's no 2 45s. So D is incorrect. B says there's 1 45. Do I see anyone with a 45? No, I do not. So our answer is C, by process of elimination. That's this data table being represented as a dot graph down here. Let's do that one more time here with number 6. So we're going to look at our data table, and we're going to look at our dot graphs. Option A says there's 140, because there's only one dot on top of 40. However, option B has 3 dots at 40. So they're saying that there's 3 40s in this data table. So let's take a look. I see here, no, there's 140 right there, and there's no other 40s. So B cannot be correct. C has only 140 and D has only 140. So A has 2 42s. See if we can find 2 42s in our data table. There's one there, and there's one there. So there's 2 42s. This one, option C says only 142, and option D says no 42s. So our answer is A for number 6. Alright. Hopefully you get a little bit better understanding of what's going on, of histograms and dot graphs. Your classwork is 028 CW1, and your homework is going to be 028 HW1. Alright, have yourself a good night.